Hello there and welcome to Living in Provo, Utah. I'm Scott Walters with Best USA Realty, and on this video we're going to talk about Halloween and trick-or-treating in Utah. It's going to be a fun video, so stick around. We'll give you a couple tips and tricks about Halloween night and just generally the Halloween holiday season here in Utah. It's going to be a fun video. We're getting after it right now. Okay, so something I think that's probably pretty unique for Utah in general is the concept of trunk-or-treating. I didn't come across that in some of the other states that I've lived in, but here in Utah, a lot of the local congregations will band together, generally pick sometime early on Halloween Day and meet at a local church parking lot. They'll back their cars up to each other, pop open their trunks, and then the kids can walk around the parking lot and get a whole bunch of candy real quickly. My one son says, hey, it's way more efficient because when you're walking around the neighborhood, you don't know if someone's home and there's a lot more distance to cover. So that's why I love trunk-or-treating, because I can get way more candy a lot quicker. He's kind of my mathematician, so that's how he thinks about things, is the efficiency of it all. But you know, the kids have a lot of fun. They dress up in their outfits and their costumes and walk around to the different cars and get a lot of candy real quick. So again, that's just you know, like in our little town, I've found 3 trunk-or-treats at 3 of the different church buildings here. I think we have 6 or 7 local congregations right here. So I mean, that's just something that you'll find in pretty much every community here in Utah Valley. All right, let's talk Sunday and Halloween. So generally, because a big majority of the people that live in Utah are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that means they generally will not trick or treat on Sunday. Now, if you're going to go around on Sunday, I don't think anyone's going to yell at you, and they'll probably hand you candy and be happy that you're there. But just know that the vast majority of people aren't going to trick or treat on Sunday. Generally, what they'll do is they'll choose Saturday. And act like that's Halloween for them. So it's just something you might be aware of. I mean, it's probably different if you're coming from out of Utah. That might be something that seems kind of peculiar or unique to you, but it's something that's quite common here in Utah. Again, if Halloween's on Sunday, just plan on the vast majority of people are doing all their trick-or-treating on Saturday. So just about every city up and down the Wasatch Front, or at least here in the Utah Valley area, has their own community events for Halloween. I live here in Salem. We have an event called the Goosebumps Gala. It's very much where generally it's sponsored by the local businesses in town that'll set up booths or tables down at the local park. And they'll get together usually a day or two before Halloween, and the kids can walk around to the different booths, get some candy, and usually a little piece of advertising from that company. But you know, if you watch the community pages, if you look at the Facebook pages, maybe you can go to your city's page, most of them are going to have some sort of community activity celebrating Halloween and just giving some additional opportunities for the kids to do kind of a pre-Halloween night trick-or-treat activity, or maybe a Halloween day trick-or-treat activity, depending whether it's on a weekend or weekday. So just keep an eye out for that. Just almost every community has some sort of activity. So in addition to the local churches and congregations generally doing a trunk-or-treating, a lot of the businesses in the different towns also have some sort of activity for Halloween, or maybe the weekend before Halloween, whatever it may be. So just kind of watch out for the different businesses. Oftentimes they'll advertise that they're going to do some sort of activity where the kids can come and get some Halloween candy from those businesses. Oftentimes I see like little strip malls around Utah Valley that'll hold some sort of trick-or-treat type activity where the kids can walk around a booth, you know, tables right around the strip mall and get some candy. And again, probably another piece of advertising or marketing material from those businesses. I know like Spanish Fork has a trick-or-treat thing where kids walk up and down the Main Street businesses. They're on Main Street and they hand out candy and get candy there, and a lot of the other towns do something similar. So just know that a lot of the businesses also are going to hop in on it. Besides, you know, sponsoring community events, generally the businesses will sponsor something else besides the community events. So if you're finding these videos helpful about what it's like living in Utah Valley, I want you to like, subscribe, tap on the notification bell so you can stay current every time I drop another video about living in Provo, Utah. And be sure to make a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite Halloween activity is. Hey, check it out, guys. I brought my referee along with me. I'm dressed up as a football player, wishing I could still play football. I got my referee wife here who likes to keep me in I guess in line. So we're going to talk about trick-or-treat times. When is it just kind of customary that people start trick-or-treating here in Utah?
Well, I think that people with little kids sometimes start as early as 4:30, maybe 5, and then older kids start a little bit after that. But generally, I think trick-or-treating is over by 9 p.m. if people come after that, it's just kind of too late.
Yeah, sometimes you might have like the teenagers that push the envelope and come a little later, but generally not. Next up on our list are school activities. Generally, most schools are going to have some sort of Halloween contest or activity going on. What are some of the things you remember the kids doing for school for Halloween?
They have a Halloween parade at the end of the day after their class parties, and this year they're having it outside around the field. Hopefully it's not cold. Usually they did it in the gym, but they're doing it outside in the field this year, so we'll see.
That'll be fun. And generally they do that for pretty much every school up and down the Utah Valley, and parents are generally invited to come watch their kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's at the elementary schools.
Yeah, at the elementary schools. I mean, they're not doing that at the high schools, of course. We're talking more the little kids, but that's just one of the fun activities that little kids look forward to for Halloween. So one thing that we look forward to when it comes to Halloween, we've in the last, I'd say maybe the last 10 years, we've come up with the tradition of doing pre-Halloween family gathering and doing root beer. I like to make homemade root beer. My daughters love watching that bubble over once you drop in that dry ice into the root beer, and then we have fresh root beer. And then we're always usually making, a taco soup or a potato soup, and we go and enjoy that before we head out for trunk or treating and for trick or treating. What are some of the other fun things we do?
We've bobbed for apples, carved pumpkins.
Oh yeah, carving pumpkins, that's a fun
Yeah.
one. We like to grab the pumpkins that we grow in the garden. So when it comes to the activities in Utah Valley, it's really up to you what you want to do. Each family does something different. That's something that we do and really enjoy doing. Finally up on my list is safety. Is it safe to trick or treat in Utah and let your kids go to door? And I say yes. What do you say, Val?
Yeah, I think lots of parents go with their kids, and that's always a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, with our older kids, we let them go out, the teenagers, if they're going to trick or treat, because they, especially when they're going around our neighborhoods, they kind of know everybody. I've trick or treated all up and down Utah Valley where I've lived in the different communities. I've never had any issue. I remember when I was a kid, we moved to Arizona, and my parents were a little worried about us trick or treating there because we didn't know it, but it was fine there, at least back in the 80s. Here in Utah, it's just I really have no fear of sending my kid out to trick or treat, other than I like to have them in before it gets too dark, just because you worry about maybe people are partying or drinking or something like that. You don't want your kids hit in the dark, but we're usually done fairly early anyway. Okay, it's safe to trick or treat in Utah. I did think of one thing to talk about when it comes to safety. Cars. You're going to have cars, especially maybe teenagers driving around. I think that's why a lot of the parents go with their kids, is to just make sure that they're not running across the street and getting run over by anybody. So when it comes to safety, yeah, it's safe in Utah, but obviously anytime you're just going to use some caution, make sure the kids are watching out for cars, and they'll be okay. If you're finding this video helpful about what it's like trick-or-treating in the Halloween season here in Utah Valley, you might also enjoy some of my other fall time activity videos. We've got a video about what it's like going to a pumpkin patch, corn bellies. You can click on the button there and check out that video. Or if you want to find some of the best fall drives in Utah, you can check out our video about the Nebo Loop Road over here.